But for me, this is a pretty special time. Not that I'm not in any way, don't, assume that I'm trying to take credit for this or anything like that, but I've been praying for Justin since I met him. Stephen and I and a lot of the leaders have sort of, we are concerned not only with the personal spiritual growth of the people of Vintage Church, but we are concerned with making sure we know everybody's salvation story. And Justin was one of the ones we had prayed for, and Steve and I had talked about Justin specifically. Stephen has been doing a lot of groundwork with Justin through Gospel Circle and different stuff like that in the past. And Justin, I don't know if you've gotten to know Justin over the last couple of years, if you've really gotten a chance to know him, because he's funny and he's a little goofy, and so it's hard to get to know him sometimes. But Justin is genuinely someone that I call my friend, and I'm thankful for that, for you, and I'm thankful that we built that relationship. It wasn't immediately there for us at Vintage, and Justin is also the type of person you can't kid a kidder. As much as he jokes, he's very astute, and he can read people better than he thinks he can, and so you can't bullcrap Justin. And so I knew that I was going to take an opportunity to share the gospel with him, but I knew that I couldn't do that if I didn't have equity in his life and I hadn't built a relationship with him. So I think we've been building that over the last months and couple of years anyway. But as I kind of said this morning, alluded to, and he'll talk, Justin and I met. I just took him aside after Gospel Missional Community one Wednesday night, and we just talked about assurance and trust and understanding of the gospel. And I never wanted to push Justin to any kind of decision. So I think the end of that time I said, let's just leave this and we'll come back to it later. And you were like, and you said, basically, hold on a minute. And so at the end of that time, when I was ready to leave it, I didn't want to leave it, but I was content to leave it. I said, well, what do you want from this? What is this? What do you think the result of this should be? And Justin said, I think I need to repent and trust in Jesus. And so I want you to know that, sometimes when someone who is older makes a decision that they thought they made earlier, they may have felt pressured into it or whatever. That's not what's happened. I hope you trust me to know that, and I hope you trust Justin as intelligent enough to be able to, sniff that out if that was what was happening. And so Justin, I believe, has made a commitment to follow Jesus. I've seen a change in his life since that time, but even before that, I've seen maturity and growth. And honestly, it's been a pleasure becoming his friend, and it's been a pleasure seeing him grow. And I want you to kind of say your unedited version of what you plan on telling him.
Okay. So, for as long as I can remember, my family has been in the church. Growing up, I sort of assumed I was a good enough person to be a Christian. But as time went on, I started seeing myself do things that were explicitly simple I would just ignore or rationalize. Later on, I ran out of ways to rationalize my sin and admitted that I was either lost or in rebellion. I didn't care enough to stop. Eventually, I started having something of a spiritual crisis, fearful of death and hell, but not knowing how to change. That fear gave way to a real, actual desire to save, but I still didn't know exactly how. I knew what I'd been told growing up, the ABCs of salvation and all that, but I was incredibly doubtful of these things, seeing as I prayed them 100 times before at camps and BBSs when I was still actively sinning. Then on Wednesday night after MC, Bryce...
This is the unedited part.
helped me realize that my dependence on myself and my own feelings of inadequacy were keeping me from truth. Bryce approached me and talked to me. He helped me realize that I was trusting myself and my own knowledge to be safe, when in fact it had nothing to do with me. So I finally put my faith in Jesus.
This is live right now.
Yeah. Faith in Jesus.
That's good. That's all right.
Don't keep me.
I would never presume to talk someone into heaven. That's not who I am. But I've seen a change in Justin's life, and I look forward to more years of seeing that change with him and seeing him grow into a man that honors the Lord and continues to be an active part of our church. Justin, it's my honor to baptize you, my brother, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, buried with him in baptism of the death, and raised with him to walk in newness of life. All right, that's his full time for the summer.